Hey everybody, welcome to my sports chat. Week 5, or we between week 5 and week 6. Michigan just beat Indiana. Um,
Beat
yeah,
Iowa.
sorry, God, we just beat Iowa.
You're so
Damn,
bored with
I'm.
the whole thing.
Oh,
Free.
I know, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
That's all right. So, and that's the thing. It's just kind of, we're doing what we're supposed to do, and it's not super exciting. And um,
Wait a minute. You think the Iowa game wasn't super exciting?
I don't.
Oh my God. Okay, Pat, what do you think?
Uh, yeah, I went down there. We haven't won there since who knows when.
17 years.
Forever.
Harbaugh's never won there, 0-3. So nervousness going into that game. I had it picked in my pool as a probable loss, and then we end up pulling that sucker out, man. So
When
I
was the
said it.
last time either team won by double digits?
That's a good.
I don't
That's
know.
a
Good
good
question.
point. That's
No,
another good.
well,
I think I
at
heard
Kinnick,
like 1993.
at Kinnick.
Yeah.
You mean?
1993.
Rob Houtland field goals, win by 3 at the end.
Yeah.
Seemed like
No,
we had
no, and I'm
those.
not saying it's not a good win. It just, when Michigan's game plan seems to be like they went into the game thinking that if they don't, the only way they're going to lose is if they turn it over.
Right.
And that's what Iowa's plan is in defense. Eliminate the big play. They play a zone. They'll give you, again, it's 40 years old of like bend, don't break defense. Let people just screw up and then take advantage of it. And Michigan seemed to know that, and they it was a very conservative game call or game plan, and they backed it up and they won easily. I mean, it's a great win for sure, but it wasn't exciting.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
I think Tom's frozen again.
I don't know where Iowa falls as far as going to help us in the season. Probably because it's at away, but yeah, the game plan. I think we tried Corum for a while. Get Corum in there, get going with him, and then JJ take a shot here and there. Try the long shot pass, whatever, down the field, and that's. I'd like to see a few more of those, but they just haven't hit those yet as often as I think they're thinking they would. But when they do, it's boom. It's a good one,
No, well, thing is, JJ's been good, if not great. He doesn't miss on. I think they said he hasn't missed on a throw inside of 30 yards yet.
Really.
But
Yeah.
he has
His numbers are
last
really.
yeah, the last 2 weeks he's been a little off on the long throws. And that's the thing, if he connects on one of those a game, then these games are blowouts. So
Yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, I mean they didn't ask him to do that. They asked him to not turn the ball over. He
Yeah.
still threw the one. He's young. He threw the ball behind him the one time. Donovan
Yeah.
Edwards. I can't say enough about Donovan Edwards. I think he's going to be
Oh,
a key going forward. And one of my worries is Corum is reminding me a lot of Mike Hart.
Hart. Yeah.
And
Look
you
at
remember,
look at his position coach. Yeah.
yeah, well, right. But I mean, it's good and bad because it also reminds me of Hart being beat up by the time we play Ohio State.
Yeah. By the time we get to that point.
Yeah, so he's beat up. He's not himself.
Yeah.
He plays, but
Yeah.
not much, and he's
Yeah.
just not himself. So
The
I think
worst thing.
Edwards is going to be a key going forward. They got to get him more carries. They got him 9 touches. I think it was 5 rushes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 rushes, 4 receiving or 4 receptions. They're gonna have to give it to him more, take some of the load off of Corum. But Corum doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
how do you?
Corum's a physical specimen right now. I think and I just hate for like the way he was going there. I hate for the Heisman talk to come out, or all of a sudden they feel like they got to keep him in there, get his carries, get his yards, keep impressing the voters. Hate for something like that to raise up because we don't need that. We just need him to be solid. Get Edwards back now, get him in there, flow in a couple of the other guys for a few there, but I don't, yeah, like you said, we don't need him to go 30 carries a game. You know, like
No,
did
we,
against
well,
Maryland, whatever, you know.
no, I think like last year, you had Corum and Haskins would get maybe 18 rushes and Corum would get 12 or 13.
Yeah.
They generally rush about the same, but Haskins would get the tough yards, he'd get the 4 on 3rd and 2, that type of stuff. Um,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you try to give it to Stokes, but he's got some hands issues right now. Last or
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, he
Yeah.
fumbled on his only carry.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season, he dropped a pass, an easy pass.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. 100%.
so it's somebody you're not trusting right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're feeding them to get a Heisman out of him. I think they're feeding them because they don't
Yeah.
trust anybody else.
That's
That's
all
where
they got,
Edwards is
right?
gonna.
Yeah.
Edwards, and they probably only gave him the 9 touches because of he's coming off an injury. Didn't play
Yeah.
for 3 weeks.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely when Edwards is back and he's flowing, man, it just makes it even more dangerous, you know, and then yeah, I'm excited for when that happens, no doubt about
Right.
it. Catching the
So
ball in our backfield, hand it off to him, and just yeah, he's an exciting player, 100%.
yeah. Yeah, he just has that look to him too. Just
Oh yeah,
like Peppers did.
yeah, yeah,
Peppers just gets on the field and he just looks like a football player and he moves like a football player.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Edwards just has that same movement to him.
Hmm.
He just looks it like Herb Street when he'd hand out the Herbies.
Yeah,
One of them was like, looks like a football player. I'm sure he had something fancier than that
right.
name, but Edwards just has that look.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So defense was great. They didn't give up a
Yeah.
point until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Another late
Yeah.
meaningless touchdown that they gave up. That's a couple. I think that's maybe 3 weeks they've done that.
Yeah.
Um,
Did he sub in? I couldn't tell. I didn't know if he had guys in there.
no, not really.
There's still the first group mix. Yeah,
All
the
right,
guy that made the tackle at the end as our transfer guy came in there and got the tackle. 18. Our transfer closed out the game there, didn't he? With the defensive. I think he knocked the ball away or whatever. Did he knock the ball away or thought he did something?
Hey,
There he
Tom.
is.
Wow.
We were worried about you there for a minute. You just
Stop.
yeah.
You can see my.
Wow, how do you do that?
Look at my camera's like acting up. I don't know what the hell.
Oh no, that was sweet, dude. You said stop,
Yeah.
and you
all right.
did.
Okay.
In the name.
Hey, we are in
No,
October. We are October right now.
No, it's like those songs that stop when they say stop. Like when the song, when the lyric says stop, it stops.
It's like it's not recognizing even the lights I have on.
There you go.
No, it's cool. It's giving us like an ethereal feel.
Sorry.
So hey, we to catch you up. We've talked about the offense. Basically our take is that Edward, like, I'm worried about Corum being a workhorse and being like overused, where he's looking a lot like Mike Hart, but I don't want him to get worn down by the Ohio State game like Mike Hart would. I think Edwards needs to take a bigger role. He got his 9 touches after being injured. I think he's got to get probably at least 15 touches going forward.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. Corum's a pretty tough kid, but you never want to see anybody carry the ball 30 times a game and take 30 hits.
Right.
Never good. I was thrilled to see Edwards back. You could see he was a little bit rusty, but he was good. And I think that's going to make a big difference going forward as as they start to get things rolling here, and next week, my suspicion is, it's a fairly easier game than we somewhat expected. But then we've got Penn State. We get a break. We have Michigan State, and then not long after that, we have Illinois, who's turned out to be very good. So we got to start sharing the rock a little bit. I really don't want to see. I wouldn't like to see him have more than 10 or 15 carries this week. and let some others carry the load for a while.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. And even Stokes, get him some carries. You know, he had some dropsies and you know, get his confidence back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it'd probably be a good week for him.
Dunlap you could put in there.
All right,
Oh.
so Mike Morris was one of the stars of the day on defense, 2 sacks, 2 hurries. And then our guy that you guys both brought up as being one of like if I'm bringing up Edwards as having that look of a football player, you guys each brought up Iabioki
Yeah.
in that first week being at the game. And he's staring at a much bigger role now.
Yeah. Did you see his snap count?
I didn't. No.
His snap count was 24 snaps.
Oh, okay, good.
And if you look really closely at the goal line stand in the early fourth quarter, mid fourth quarter, he was in there for every snap. And
Wow.
he had 2 big plays. He stopped the running back. He came around the end and dove at the running back's legs to get him down before he could get the first down. And
Wow.
he put pressure on the quarterback. He's extremely athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's 5-star talent.
Yep.
You know, again, a lot of times like they don't miss on the talent as much as they miss on the drive and desire and you know, maybe the maturity level.
Yeah, and you never know what the handlers are like for these kids. You know.
Correct. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's going to be crucial. They mentioned he's getting an increase.
all right. So like Pat, preseason, I had them losing that game last week when Tom and I were on this show. My sports chat every week.
That's right.
I switched it because they're just one dimensional.
Mhm.
And Michigan did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a good win, and it's first time in 17 years, and you know, like you said, God, first time. I didn't know that about the double digit thing since '93.
Yeah, I just heard that on Sports Talk today.
Hey, we are sports talk.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a great story when you know. And to be honest, Iowa's had some pretty good teams, but in general, they have not. But
Right.
Harbaugh was right. It's where top 5 teams go to die, and there's a lot of them. 5 out of 6 now. They're 5 out of 7 playing top 5 teams in Kinnick, and the numbers are pretty telling. So
Yeah. But I'd be interested to see what with Ferentz there, and you know, this is another year here. If he doesn't turn things around, it could be hot seat for him. He may be playing out the string here at the end. But
oh no, they won the division last year.
Yeah.
How can
No, and I mean, right now,
But
God, I'd say between
they're getting turned over nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's wide open, but I mean, they have as much of a chance as anyone with Wisconsin being all poopy and Northwestern's horrible, Nebraska's horrible.
Yeah, the West is really strong.
I mean, Purdue was I thought Purdue might have been a long shot for that. And like I thought Purdue was like maybe an 8-4 team.
Yeah.
And they're struggling with some injuries and they're not putting it together. So I think it's wide open. Minnesota gets well, Purdue blasted Minnesota last week.
They're all 1-1. There's 1-1. What is there? 6 teams over there. 5 of them are 1-1.
Yeah.
Or 1-1. So it's still like you say, toss up right now. And I think Minnesota has the biggest advantage, but I think their running back went down. And, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a stud running back though.
Yeah. Don't count out Illinois. I mean, I'm assuming Illinois will lose at least one more to Michigan. I like the style of play. Bielema has done a great job with that team, and
they're tough. They're built.
They're gonna be tough coming into Ann Arbor. So
yeah,
it's a week before Ohio State. Right?
Yep.
All right. So speaking of trap games, is this week a trap game?
No.
All right, Pat.
You know, when you look preseason, you saw these 2 games, Iowa, Indiana. Were we going to struggle at Iowa? Were we going to, or whatever? But now you say that, Griff. I didn't even think about it. But trap game, yeah, this is all day trap game. I think there's issues here, but the way they've been playing though, Michigan's been playing. I don't know. You could really label it as a trap game, but I think the way this team's playing, I just don't think there's anybody that's going to touch it right now.
No.
I think it's your classic trap game, but it's set up for that. I don't think they're gonna get trapped though.
Right.
You're talking, a big, anytime you go to Kinnick, that's a big game. And then anytime you're playing Penn State, that's a big game. This is right in the middle. But I think they're locked in. I think they're focused. I think they have confidence from what happened last year. And in Indiana's there's just not much there.
But we talked about going to Iowa and how hard it was in Iowa. And I can recall a few times going to Indiana and as a kid or even growing up where we're out there raking leaves, listening to it on the radio. And it was, holy cow, we're coming down to the fourth quarter, 10-10 tie or whatever it was.
Right.
So it's like, what are we doing struggling with these guys, And I think Ufer was online on the radio and it was like, oh my gosh. And then holy crow, we got out of here by the hair of our teeth. So who knows? But Indiana was good a few years ago. Right now, they
I
lost.
watched the Nebraska-Indiana game. I am not concerned.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good. They really aren't. They don't have the athletes that they've had in the past.
Right.
And this thing that Michigan's doing right now, where Harbaugh said it and JJ said it after the game. He said, "We are going in and to any stadium anywhere, and we're gonna play their music. We're gonna embrace their
Right.
They wore the pink.
we all know the story about Hayden Fry in the pink locker room, and they decided not to cover it up this time, and they had pink towels on the sideline. They were waving them during the game.
Nice.
They're
No, that's
embracing that.
Yeah, and that's and we saw that
Right.
last year. They, with jump around and
Yep.
they did it a few different times.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just the jump around thing was amazing. That's when I
Yeah.
first thought,
Yeah.
like, hey man,
Yeah.
this might be a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, they it's Indiana. They're not good. QB Connor Bazelak, he's just under 300 yards a game, which seems okay, but he's thrown 5 picks. He's not a run threat. He has yet to have positive yards rushing on the year in any game. It's just not a concern. If there's a concern, it's because there's no concern.
Yeah, I'm not being complacent about this game. It's obviously a serious thing. We have to come out and do the exact same thing we did with Iowa. And, if you look at what Iowa struggled the most with, we figured it would be their passing game and we could hold their running game in check. Turned out, Petrus threw for over 200 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't run the ball at all. And if you look at Indiana against Nebraska, I think they only had about 60 yards rushing. You're not going to beat Michigan by winging the ball all over the place. You're just not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that we will get them off the field pretty regularly, and I don't see them stopping us. I see us stopping us. I don't see them stopping us.
Right.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have a stinker game, this wouldn't be a bad time to have it because I think it's gonna be there's gonna be more Connecticut than Maryland.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't even know if it'll be good. Yeah, it's just got to be something. You're waiting for it because it's just the way Michigan is sometimes. But so far, and not there, and hopefully not this Saturday. But we could use a little wake up call, maybe just to make sure, just to tidy things up. But Penn State, I don't know what that one's down the road. That's going to be a tough one, tough backs, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, you got to get through Indiana first.
All right, so a theme during this season on this on the My Sports Chat podcast, Tom, you've always kind of been bringing up injuries. Seem to be stacking up a little bit now.
Yep.
There's Roman Wilson.
Yep.
I don't know if he's out or they keep it pretty close to the vest, but rumor has it he's out. You have Eric Hall out for the season. Edwards just came back.
Trevor Keegan just came back, and I just read an hour ago, Trevor Keegan is not going to play this week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is
Hill
okay.
Green. Has Hill
Um,
Green played at all this year?
no, he has a hamstring injury and it is
Oh,
taking a long time to heal.
okay.
And
right.
Cade also was another part of that.
Right.
There's a possibility he will be back not this week, next week. But I
Right.
did hear Roman Wilson probably they're not going to have him travel. He's okay, but to be honest, do you need him in a situation like that when you do have a lot of other talent?
Got a lot of
There's no chance that we should need him.
Right.
Yeah.
And
around
all the running backs are going to travel. I read that. So you might see a little bit of Gash. You might see Dunlap. You might see Stokes. It all depends on what we get done and what we execute in the first half. Something I wanted to bring up at the very beginning of this, and my computer acted up. Did you guys notice the calm of the offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that. There was no jitters on that first drive in particular. There was no jitters, nobody flinching early. The guys were dead focused the whole time.
Yeah.
There was not the handoffs weren't like, oh, wait a minute, I got to reach for the guy. The throws weren't off the mark.
Timing.
The receivers did everything right. They blocked. It was really perfect. And the thing I looked at more than anything else was the feet of the quarterback. And Petrus had the exact opposite happen.
Right.
His first series, Petrus's feet were everywhere.
Yeah.
He couldn't even think of getting set without getting hit.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. I haven't seen that from a Michigan quarterback. I mean, you think of some of the best quarterbacks we've had recently, thinking of Shea Patterson. God, Shea Patterson never, ever got set. Ever.
No, he's happy feet.
Move.
Yeah, looked nervous the entire time.
Yep.
No, and that's the thing. There's poise and there's confidence.
Yep.
It's good to watch. And I'm glad you brought it up because, like I said, I wanted to say something. Number one statistical defense in the nation is Iowa. And here's the thing, as much as we make fun of their offense, you gotta give them credit for their defense.
Wow.
I mean, they've been outstanding on their defense.
Yep. How good are they?
So and they come right out, a 10-play drive, 75 yards. Just look at this: run for 4, run for 7, pass for 7, run for 6, pass for 14, pass for 3, run for 6, run for 2, incomplete, run for 10, run for 16, touchdown.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it was just, and that's the thing. You just you don't have the nervousness of that first, like, hey, what do we got going here? And that just like you just bitch slap the other team.
Yep. And what
you think you're gonna beat us? Nah. Remember 42-3 last time we met?
Yeah. What I read was they had their best practice of the year on Thursday. They ran through their script for the first series against the number 1 defense at U of M, and they went right down the field against us.
Yeah.
So
nice.
They were ready, and they were prepped for whatever Iowa wanted. And I didn't even see any big hits from their vaunted defense on that first drive. And as the game wore on, I watched that offensive line leaning on the Iowa guys. And you saw the time of possession, it was like 34-12.
Yeah.
It was unreal. And they just kept leaning on him and leaning on him and leaning on him. And so anyway, I was probably more impressed with the calm, cool demeanor. And when you saw it on the sideline, they weren't going nuts. They were just doing their job.
I like that. I like exactly what you said. I like that we can methodically move our way down the field. That goes a lot with the taking advantage of crappy defenses that we saw in the first 4 games. The real explosive type stuff.
Yeah.
So I like that we can do both. That bodes well against Ohio State. Take what you. Yeah. We're gonna take what you give us, and we can make it happen.
Yep.
What do you think of us going mind games, Adam, wearing the same outfits we wore in Indianapolis with the whites and the blues on the road?
Well, I did like that a lot.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like, they picked out that outfit and I'm like, look at it, same stuff they wore in
Yep.
Indiana.
See, I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's our best look.
It is a good look, but it's, I mean, like I say, when you talk about the pink towel and sticking in their
Mhm.
faces, it all ranks right up there with that kind of mentality of
Yeah.
gonna show up and we're gonna be the same outfit.
Well,
we were
again,
like
to
they
me,
do last year. 'Cause
you
you're
know,
in New
it's
York and we're in our championship.
it's the Eminem 8 Mile mentality.
Yeah.
Like I know what my strengths are. I know what your strengths are. I know my weaknesses. I know your
Yeah.
weaknesses. I'm going to take my weaknesses away and I'm going to take your strengths away. And I'm going to bring it up first. And that's the thing. Like yeah, pink. Haha. Screw
I
you.
think, I think this is the first time we've had back-to-back years where we have Harbaugh's guys. And I think last year was a little bit premature, and
Yeah,
Cade
these are-
played well enough to make it work.
Yeah. And yeah,
But I think we have a bunch of Harbaugh kind of guys, hard-nosed, tough. They care about one thing, and that is how well this team does. Now you're gonna have 12 guys at the end of the year that are gonna transfer. And when I looked at that column a couple days ago, there's guys out there that we thought were going to be really good that are now ending their sophomore year and they're not playing. They're going to be gone.
Right.
So
Gotta-
we're going to need to
gotta-
fill. Yep.
the smell of the late Stanford years when he was in Stanford, when he just
Yep,
had
exactly.
power line, some athletes, a good quarterback, you know, with the what's his toes there.
Yeah. 5 tight ends.
You know,
Yep.
he just get out there and just and speed on defense. He had those linebackers. He had and Stanford went in there and rolled. You know, he beats USC and beats all. So I'm like,
Yep.
and they're playing with that kind of
No, and that's the thing. I mean, like, they
stuff.
did it last year where it's okay, you key in on our guys. Like we're gonna get 5 yards of rush on you.
Yep.
Try to stop that, we're gonna throw it over you.
Yep.
And it's so great. Like, I mean, if you're trying to set it up for a new quarterback, this is a great
Yeah.
season
Yep.
for it because
Mm.
you got some crappy games to get get the guy some confidence, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's a team that doesn't make mistakes on defense.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
gonna, and now it's a zone when you've been playing man
Yep.
all year. So
Mhm.
now you got to watch for something else. I mean, if you don't know what a zone does, ask Demetrius Brown.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's a Heisman guy if he plays against man.
Yep.
He's me if he plays against zone.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm that bad though.
Yeah.
7
No.
picks.
No.
7 picks in a game that
Yeah.
if he threw 6, we would have won.
The thing that I think was really good, I was real excited that last week against Maryland there were some struggles, and Cade looked a little flustered.
JJ.
I'm sorry, JJ looked a little flustered, and it gave the coaches a week to go. Let's work on these 5 things with you,
yeah.
and even on the 2 or 3 scrambles that he had, one was an absolute. I mean, it was a zone read. He pulled it and took off, and he glides along and glides along, kind of like we're seeing a CJ Stroud do. And then he goes, okay, I'm just going to go step out of bounds, and he gets 7 yards.
Steps out of bounds.
It's like calm. And,
Yeah.
and oh, by the way, we have got to give it up for the tight end blocking and the wide receiver blocking. Holy shit, are they good?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, are they good?
that's Bo trademark right there.
Oh,
At
God, are they
100%. I was gonna say, like,
Both
there's a
trademark.
lot of people like have Bo little, oh, that's a Bo thing. To me, it's
Yeah.
wide receiver blocking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are they good?
I
Seeing them,
So,
I used to love
except for
watching that.
Clemens, he had a hold on the one run and it got called back. Other than that,
Yeah.
they've been so good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's fun to watch.
So we got like
And by
5.
the way, the best play of the day, and I'll give you guys a chance to tell me what you think. The Blake Corum run for the final touchdown, where he gave the future NFL linebacker the dead leg and said, you can have this. Nah, I'll go the other way.
Right. Yeah.
He
That's so
laid back.
subtle.
Oh, God,
And
that was
dude, I've fallen for that.
fun. Yeah.
You just sit there, go,
All
just
you
a
do is
little
just
bit of
watch that
hesitation.
Little left foot head move and then
no,
goes with
no.
me.
Yeah.
Look just like what Pat used to do. Little dead leg
Yeah.
left, boom.
Yeah.
Takes
Show
off
show
right.
and
They
tell.
pull away
Show
and hit a
and tell.
jumper.
Gone.
Step back. That's like the step back in basketball. That movie made it was like a step back.
All right, we got a couple minutes left.
Yep.
Let's go. We're all in agreement. It's, probably gonna be we're gonna beat up on Indiana here.
Hope so.
What do you guys want to see out of the game?
Go ahead, Pat.
I've already said mine. I want to see Edwards
I'd
take a
like
bigger
to see,
role. Corum take a little back
Well,
seat.
yeah, I'm still looking for the two receivers to get 100 yards. I think just exploit that a little bit more, and just show it to say, hey, we're gonna go, whether it's Bell and Johnson or somebody, But I'd like to see the receiving go, and I'd like to see the defense just get after it again with some, another 7-8 sacks. Be nice.
I want to see the backup quarterback. I don't know who that is. I want to see him. And I'd like to see him play more than a
Maybe
snap or
one.
two. I'd like to see a couple of series.
Right.
Get day out and even if it's in the third quarter and you kind of got the game in hand, but you get this guy a little bit of a touch and some experience on the road in case you have to have it down the line.
Right.
Mhm.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, you never
All
know.
right. Well, excellent. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Go blue. Can't wait to watch another win.
Yeah, definitely go into Indiana and take care of business.
Yep.
Another business trip, as they used to say.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Indiana doesn't have any kind of like home field advantage, any kind of like special thing that they do. So nothing for Michigan to appropriate.
You see half the stadium blue and amazing blue.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah. The other half will look like empty seats.
And Allen will be
Hey,
all.
by the way, I heard something about an hour ago that Ohio State is going to paint Spartan Stadium red.
Oh, I bet. Oh,
They are buying every single ticket they can get their hands on, and they are coming up to East Lansing en masse.
nice.
That's good.
I bet
Perfect.
100%. I bet
Odd that Sparty would lose interest halfway through a season that's not going well. Very weird. Very not on point at all for them.
Is it 28 the spread? What's
Oh.
25, I think. I don't know. It could be up to 28. I saw it was
Yeah.
25. So
I say at least four touchdowns, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll watch that just
can
as
they,
like blowout porn.
can Tucker pull his troops together and pull the Michigan upset on Ohio State?
Yeah, they got one game circled the rest of the season.
Oh,
You
they
know what
got
that is.
Is right.
And I am thrilled, as I said in our little text stream the other day. I can't wait for that night game. And since my son lives in East Lansing, he's going to bring a few couches down so we can burn them in honor of the Spartans when they get down into our territory.
All right. Well, hey guys, we're up against it. Thank you for your participation again. Thank everybody who's watching this. My Sports Chat Weekly.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Go
Have
Blue.
a great day. Yep. Bye.